From the festival floor, I'm Danny Washington, and we're here with one of our featured XSTEM speakers, Marshall Shepard. And you are a meteorologist, correct?
I am a meteorologist. I am the director of the University of Georgia's Atmospheric Sciences program. I have a PhD in physical meteorology from Florida State University. So being a meteorologist, I study the weather, I know about the weather, but I'm probably not the type of meteorologist most people think.
You wear a lot of hats in your career.
I do. When I tell people I'm a meteorologist, I get three questions. What channel are you on? What's the weather tomorrow? On my daughter's wedding, is it going to be rained out? It's an outdoor reception. But I actually am a research and development scientist. I spent 12 years at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. I have a few missions that are in space right now, measuring rainfall from space.
Really?
Various types of research that I do globally and nationally as well. I host a show on the Weather Channel called Weather Geeks every Sunday, and it's soon to be a podcast as well.
What is that about, Weather Geeks?
It's a meet the press, face the nation type show that comes on every Sunday at noon. In fact, this Sunday, if you remember the song "She Blinded Me with Science" by Thomas Dolby, it was an old '80s hit. I have Thomas Dolby on talking about how weather influenced some of his music. So we talk about everything. We've had Jane Goodall on. We've had the President's Science Advisor. We're just talking weather and climate.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So you're dabbling into science communication and just keeping it, you're staying in academia. That's great.
Like I said, I'm the Georgia Athletic Association Distinguished Professor at the University of Georgia. So I have all these tenure and scholarly bells and whistles that academia requires. All those bells and whistles are on my CV, but to me, if we as scientists are not able to engage in the public or with policymakers, people will gladly come in and fill the void. And I work in an area of weather and climate change where there's already a lot of misinformation about these topics. And so if an expert like me is not willing to engage, someone that has an agenda certainly will. So.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yes. And what originally got you involved in meteorology? Why were you inspired as a kid?
Yeah, well, I see as we've been here all at the U.S. Science and Engineering Festival, and it's been great seeing all the kids. Fifth grade, I was catching honeybees in my yard. I wanted to be an entomologist. Got stung by a bee, found out I was highly allergic to bee stings, almost died. Sixth grade science project came around, so I needed a plan B, pun intended. And so I decided to do my project on weather and build weather instruments from things around the house and predict weather in my little local community. And from that point on, I was actually, I guess, bitten by that bug, so to speak, and wanted to be a meteorologist, but never wanted to do forecasting, never wanted to be on TV pointing at a board with cold fronts and high pressure systems. I was always more interested in how and why. So started figuring out where do I need to go to get a PhD, bachelor's, master's, and then I said I want to work for NASA one day. I didn't know how it was going to happen, didn't know how I was going to do it, but ultimately I did. Had a 12-year career at NASA and now at the University of Georgia.
Wow, and I just love that you were able to expand in that way and represent. So what's been the biggest challenge for you as far as?
So really a couple of big challenges. One is just sort of kind of explaining what I do as opposed to what people think I do. I would say also, as an African-American scientist, I was the president of the largest professional society in our field, standing in a hotel lobby with three other past presidents of the American Meteorological Society, and a woman walks up to me and asks if I was the airport shuttle driver, although I'm standing there in a suit just like everyone else. And so there are these misperceptions when this young guy, relatively young compared to other folks in my field, walk in. I think oftentimes there's a misperception of who I am and what I do, so I quickly correct that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, and you just represent and do what you do and
Absolutely.
do it with excellence.
Sure.
Which obviously you have with so many achievements.
Oh well, I just, and one thing for kids or anybody that's watching this, I'm just passionate about what I do. If you saw my XSTEM talk here on Thursday as a part of the week, I'm still a kid in a candy store. I mean, it's almost like robbery that I get paid because I just enjoy what I do. So
you enjoy it. What was the energy like at the XSTEM?
Energy at XSTEM was awesome. I mean, I was just some of the other speakers that I saw, just the crowd. I mean, I frankly wasn't expecting as large of a crowd as we had in the room. And the students were engaged, asking amazing questions. And so, I mean, I told them to tweet me out there. I'm on Twitter at Dr. Shepard 2013. So I told them, tweet me out there, send those pictures, tell me what you thought of my talk, and they engaged.
And they did. See, that's it. This generation is on it.
Yeah, they are on it, which gives me hope, actually, because as I said, one of the areas I do have to deal with, and I have to go to the White House, I have to go to the Waffle House, and I'll talk about climate change to any of these. And so, when we talk to some of the adults about some of these topics, they're kind of in what we call confirmation bias, or where they kind of believe what they believe. But the kids, they get it, and so that's what gives me hope.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And I understand that you brought your family this week because it's spring break.
It's spring break in the Atlanta area, and I normally we don't get a chance to travel on their spring break because their spring break in school is different from the University of Georgia's spring break. But I had to come here to speak, and so they came up. So yeah, we've been just doing tourist things. But I lived here in the area for 12 years. I was at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center out in Greenbelt, but at the time we didn't have kids, and so this is all very new to them. So they're kind of over the whole go see daddy speak at science things. They've done that enough. So they're back at the hotel as we speak, getting ready. We're going to the Wizards and Hawks game tonight because we are big Atlanta Hawks fans. So.
Nice. That's going to be a lot of fun.
No, it's not. The Hawks stink, but we're going to go to the game anyway.
It's the experience, right?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Did they have any aha moments today while on the expo floor?
Actually they did. They were just doing, my daughter wants to be a parasitologist. She's 14, which is infectious disease in animals. So she really was into
The
some of the DOD things, the
Yeah.
veterinarian activities over down in the B and A hall. My son's really into coding, and so he got to do some things with something called Raspberry Pi, or it's a coding with Python and building computers. So when I get back to Georgia, I'm going to have to go online and buy that software and package for him because he loved it. So.
Excellent. Well, we all know that we'll learn something new if you go out on that floor. It's so much excitement
Absolutely.
here at the expo, and we still have 2 more days left here at the USA Science and Engineering Festival in Washington, D.C. Marshall, thank you so much for joining us today and taking a few minutes to be here.
Hey, yeah, absolutely happy to do it, and great job.
Thank you. And where can we find you online?
You can find me online at various places at Dr. Shepard 2013. I'm also on Instagram. It's Marsh4, the number 4 at FSU. And if you Google me on Facebook, I have a public Facebook page as well.
Excellent. Definitely check out Marshall online and follow us online as well at #SciFest.
Nice.